So I'm working on this Riccar Radiance R40P.2, and it's got an issue where both motors work. You turn on the main motor. When you lean the machine back, it automatically starts the brush roll motor. That thing kicks on for about 2 seconds and shuts off, which leads me to believe there might be some sort of restriction maybe that's preventing airflow from flowing, I guess you could say. And I'm kind of getting an idea of something here. I've taken off this back inspection panel. This machine has inspection panels all over the thing. But I took off this, looked in here, couldn't see anything. I took off this elbow from here, and that's where this tool goes to. And through tools on, I'm putting my Mila hose to this. There's no airflow coming through this. So I'm gonna pull this off. We're gonna see what's going on behind it, see if there's any restrictions here, because that could very well be the issue with this machine. All I'm doing is just pulling these perimeter screws out. Just to kind of see what's going on. And I'm not seeing any restrictions. So really, I'm kind of at a loss as to why this thing's shutting off. So after 3 months of being in the vacuum shop and torn apart and diagnosed, I finally have this thing back from my local Riccar dealer. I brought it in because I had narrowed down this issue with the brush roll shutting off to a circuit board issue. Brought it into them thinking, hey, these guys should be able to hot swap some parts in and you know, kind of figure it out pretty quickly. Easiest way to determine if a circuit board is bad is to throw another one in and see if it works. Well, unfortunately, these Taconi machines are on their 8th or 9th iteration. I forget what number it exactly is, but they've been in production for over 10 years at this point. This one's a 2018. With how many revisions there are, there's just as many, if not more, revisions on the internal circuitry, on the 2 circuit boards that are installed in these from the factory. He told me flat out that he has not sold more than 1 or 2 of these. He rarely sees them in for service because they're that rare. Most people don't buy them. He said that if he sells them, he sells them the R30 instead of the R40 like this one is, and that's what most people want to buy. I think those have a lot of the same issues, but these R40s, he just, for whatever reason, hasn't seen too many of them. So at first he thought it was an issue with the direct air motor, which, by the way, these have both a bypass and a direct air motor installed. 2 separate motors with the circuitry to go with it. He thought it was the direct air motor that was messed up or causing an issue, not communicating with the board. And lo and behold, that direct air motor was not the issue. It works fine. So he came down to the fact, well, it's probably the circuit board, like I thought it was. And so he swapped one in off of a floor model, which is newer, found out that that one is not compatible with this machine. So he ordered another one. The one that Taconi sent him was the wrong one. That one didn't work. So by this point, we're about 3 months into this thing, and I called him up last week and was like, hey, I'll come and pick this thing up. You know, if you haven't been able to fix it yet, it is what it is. I don't, you know, hold it against you. It's just, I know how Taconi is. I know how they operate with some of their stuff. Let me come get it. It's all stuff that I can part out online. He's like, all right, well, I'll have my guy put it back together. So he did. He put it back together and did one final clean off, I guess. And I can't remember if he blew off the circuit boards with compressed air, he wiped them off or something, but he got everything back together and it works. The brush roll spins, it doesn't shut off. like it wasn't doing anything like it was doing. I've used this 2 or 3 times now, haven't had a single issue with it. He used it in the store a couple times. He couldn't believe it, didn't know why it was fixed. Best guess I have is when I had picked this thing up, they had run it without the bag. And when I had taken it apart, I found a bunch of dust and all kinds of crap inside the motor chamber. My guess is that it got something onto the circuit board that was causing a short or something and preventing it from working as it was designed. So the vacuum sensed that, whatever issue it was, I don't know if it was a resistance issue or something, but it didn't run the brush roll. Now it being, I guess, cleaned off, it runs perfectly fine now. These vacuums, they clean really well. Purely as a vacuum, if you just look at it as, does this thing clean well or not? They clean probably the best out of any vacuum you can buy. That being said, they require a ton of maintenance to keep them operational. These vacuums are like, I don't know, I would say like a vintage muscle car that nobody's ever heard of, or I shouldn't say nobody's ever heard of, but it's not like a 1967 Mustang where there's parts everywhere for them. This is more like an AMC Javelin or AMX or something like that, where they're cool, they have a ton of power, but they're really rare. Didn't make too many of them. You can't find too many parts for them. That's kind of like how these things are, something like a Pantera or something. They work really well for what they were designed to do, but this is a machine that you need to take in at least once a year to your vacuum store and have them service it and clean it out properly, because if you don't, it will start screwing up on you. All things being said, this is not something that I would spend brand new money on. Brand new, these go for $1,800 at your dealer. I wouldn't pay a quarter of that for one of these. This was a curb find, so it was obviously free, and then, you know, the bit of money that I gave my vacuum store to service it up for me, because I do like supporting small businesses when I can, and he's a pretty good guy, to be honest, but they did a good job cleaning it out some more. I also had them install some new filters on it, which would have been the same price with me buying them at the vendor that I was going to get them from. So I had him swap out the filters for me. I didn't think that was a big deal. Obviously, he stuck a new bag in, this new filter here, and then I think there's another filter up here somewhere. According to this sticker, it was never even brought in for its red carpet service plan. You spend money on something like this, Tacony actually will take care of the customer, and the service costs are bedded into the cost of the machine. So they want you to take care of these. They clearly do, but this one, for whatever reason, the people that bought it never brought it back in. I don't know what was happening there. If it was under warranty still, they probably could have had them fix it if it was a board issue, but I don't have any of the attachments for it. It's supposed to have a dusting brush right there, I believe. Very kind of weirdly designed machine. I would be lying if I said it wasn't reminiscent of like a Rube Goldberg machine, but it actually has a purpose and it actually will do something, but it's just overly complicated. It's even got one of these old school selector valves for your tools. The hose has metal in it, of course, and this is a magnet right here. It's supposed to keep this up against it, and it kind of works a bit, but it's a little lazy. Really nice quality wand. Give it that much for sure. Handle seems decent like any other Tacony product. Most Tacony stuff is made really well, even though unfortunately they are producing the newer machines like this one in China. This is still an okay machine for what it is. But at least you know when you buy a Tacony product, you're getting something that's quality. It's meant to be repaired and fixed, even in the case of this one, even though it requires more maintenance. Tacony still does support it to some degree. I have an issue with their circuitry that they use, but other than that, you know, you can find a new bag door for it, new hoses, all kinds of stuff. Circuitry is a different animal, but Tacony will support this for, you know, a decent length of time at least. I almost forgot to mention the brush roll. Now this brush roll is very good for agitation, just the way that they have it designed. It's got all these grooves in it too, but you can see the bristles are nice and stiff. Really, really heavy duty brush roll. They are replaceable, of course. For whatever reason, Tacony did update the design on these. I don't know why they did it, because from what I've read, from what I've seen or, you know, heard from other people, this is the brush roll that's more preferred compared to the newer one. People feel that it cleans better. I don't know the difference because I've never, you know, used the newer one, but it's just something I've kind of heard about. Something that's kind of quirky about it is if you look at the other side where the belt guard is, there's actually just a small thing of bristles right there, just a single tuft of bristles. It's not going to do anything over here. You know, I doubt there's much suction that gets pulled up through here. I mean, there is, you know, suction pathways here that'll help with that, but this end here is going to clean a lot better than that end, of course. Also, your height settings. This particular machine has 6 different height settings, but the third setting, they call it auto. That's where I've got this one set. But they've also got floor, low, then there's max and high and a whole bunch of other ones. But I just leave it on auto. I don't think that's too big of a deal. I feel that it cleans okay. But as far as the accessories go, like I was saying, this one doesn't have any, unfortunately. But your crevice tool would go here, dusting or upholstery tool would go here, and then there's a separate 3-in-1 dusting brush that would go up here. You can also get a air turbo tool for it, and you know, some of the other Tacony floor tools will work on this as well, as long as it's the same size, of course. Down here you also have 3 different idiot lights. You have one for full bag, clogged filter, and then brush roll obstruction. So kind of interesting that they have that as a feature as well. And then you'll see it when I turn it on, but it's just got, you know, a single speed on or off, and then you have a carpet selector switch, which all this does is just shuts the brush roll off. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on so you all can hear it. I'll show you guys the settings on the handle. So turn it on. Shut off the brush roll. It runs really well, especially for having been run for who knows how long without the bag installed, which, again, it truly amazes me how people can spend a ton of money on something like this and just, you know, abuse it like that. I don't understand the way that some people operate and spend their money. I mean, you might as well just light your money on fire at that point. But yeah, you guys can hear it runs and works perfectly fine. There's really nothing wrong with it. So probably keep this one around for a little while and see how I like it. And yeah, it seems to be decent so far. I mean, I guess I'm happy with it. I didn't pay $1,800 for it, or, you know, even half that. But seems to be a decent machine for what it is. Maybe I'll get some update videos on it in the future. We'll see. Stay tuned for more.